all my viewers. Supreet Industries is one of the leader of Indian plastic processing industry with 7 business divisions handling volume of over 6 lakh MTA. One of the most respected business families in our industry. They have 25 advanced plants and are credited with pioneering several products in India. My guest on today's edition is Mr. V.K. Taparia, Executive Director of the Supreme Industries. The ex-president of OPPI, presently the member of the Executive Committee, has been a member of the National Advisory Board of Plast India and chairman of the World Presidents Organization, Mumbai chapter. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to welcome you to my show, Insights with Nidhi Verma, sir.
Thank you very much, Nidhi. Couple of quick corrections. One is that we process about 420,000 tons ballpark of polymers and not 600,000 tons. We aim to be there very soon though. And I have been an ex-chairman of World President Organization and the Mumbai chapter. So just wanted these 2 marginal corrections.
So these are all my wish lists, so this is going to come true immediately after this interview.
I'm quite sure 6 lakh tons shouldn't be very difficult for us to reach with blessings and good wishes of friends like you.
Always, sir. Sir, how has the pandemic impacted the protective packaging demand? You have a very strong business vertical for making products used in civil and insulation applications.
So protective packaging division is primarily into protective packaging, as the word suggests, and that's where it started. And then we were able to make products from the same range of products in which work in civil and insulation applications. So very clearly, this is protective packaging means it's primarily for industry. And as you know, most industry has been seriously impacted. So we had of course, the month of April was almost a washout, or was a washout, I would say. Things started picking up a bit in the month of May. It was definitely better in the month of June, maybe about 65–70% of regular demand. But I must say that since we supply a lot to the automobile industry as well, on the packaging side, there has been a bit of a dip. At the same time, similarly on the construction side, for 2 months, there was almost no construction activity happening. They're starting to pick up. So also those projects which are left incomplete will get completed and they will buy the insulation and civil products. But I don't know how it will pan out in the near future. I'm sure that people will start working on new projects very soon and they will move very quickly. So I am quite sure that in the next couple of months' time, we'll see a much better scenario going forward. But I think generally there is an improvement. July looks better than June as a percentage of last year's sales. We'll be there quickly.
On that optimistic note, what is your view on the flexible packaging segment? Has the mix of the consumer segments that you cater to been impacted? Have they changed a bit?
We do a lot of packaging side for the industrial business, industrial side of it. And that's definitely partially impacted. The packaging side, direct packaging, food packaging related businesses, they're all there and probably getting better. And I expect that in time to come, this segment will only grow better because more and more people will buy more and more packaged food and less of non-packaged food. So in whichever format it comes by, whoever supplies it, my sense is that generally packaging would take a frontline situation for all applications, especially in food side.
Yes, this is what I've been hearing when I have been speaking to brand owners and some of the other converters. I'm a little curious to know, sir, that has there been any unique kind of order that you would have received and supplied during this pandemic?
So on the packaging side, I think it's just about the same. On the protective packaging side, yes, we've done a few interesting things. I can't say they're large businesses, but we've done something with PPE suits as lining. We've done lining for the shields. We've done a couple of other packaging for medical equipments and for ventilators, packaging of products for them. But interestingly, in terms of volume, EP products, polythene foam products are used in mattresses. And, a lot of mattresses were required all of a sudden for quarantine and quarantine beds. And state government suddenly woke up to the requirement that we want to have beds in every village, every town, whatsoever. And therefore, there was a huge requirement for mattresses. And in that, we could rise to the occasion and supply to several states a large volume of material.
Okay, sir. What is the current ratio of division between the exports and how you cater to the Indian market, sir? And what would you have your plans going forward?
So the packaging division is ballpark, flexible packaging division is about ballpark 20% is export, 80% Indian. We intend to grow both markets, and Indian market is going to be as good. So therefore, we will continue to maybe that ratio or marginally increase it on an ongoing basis. Our desire is to reach a very high level of exports. So and in the last 3-4 years, we have seen that traction happening. I'm quite sure that we will take this forward now. That time will say, because we are not the only ones impacted by COVID. Everybody in the world has been impacted by COVID.
Yes, it has been
Protective packaging, you must know that we are all foam and air products. So very specialty products are exported. Some of our customers have been impacted, and therefore export demand for those products have come down a bit in the recent times. But I believe that in a couple of months' time will come back in place. But it's not a serious quantity for us because it's very, very voluminous, and therefore exports are not an easy thing. It's very expensive to transport foam products.
understood, sir. India faces disasters like floods, earthquakes, cyclones in different parts most of the times. In such situations, your very famous product, that's the silpuline, would be very useful for making temporary shelters, cap covers for food grains, as well as rain shelters for the slums. Have you received a huge demand during this pandemic for that product?
It's not during the pandemic per se, but we had the recent cyclone in the east, and there was a sudden demand. And it's an unfortunate part. Something like that leads to a certain amount of business. We try to be as we also donate a lot over there in those areas, but obviously it's a business parameter as well. And yes, these kind of situations bring in a fair amount of business, specifically the cyclones or the serious rain. And we've seen that happen every year somewhere or the other in the country, or probably some places in the world. And yes, it leads to certain businesses in that direction. But it's an interesting thought process. At one place, we are happy about a business, but at the same time, we feel sad that it's going in a situation where things is very difficult for people.
Yes, but at least the product is helping the people. It is becoming a huge, I think, product or that saves them from either the rain or saves
I
them.
must say this, that over a period of time, successive governments, lots of NGOs have clamored for our product because they find that our product helps people, and these things last for a much longer time than whatever else is available in the market. And therefore, people choose to buy that product.
Agreed. It's not an elephant in the room anymore. The China question is being openly debated. Are you dependent on China for import of any of your raw materials, or you're supplying to that country for your end products?
No, our China dependence is very, very nominal. I can't say that zero, but it's very nominal. We're already looking at other options. But this China thing is a little overplayed as well. Very politically overplayed. I mean, it's not really such a big situation to be so much about China beyond a point. And I'm saying that we as a country should become self-sufficient on everything. And why depend on anybody? Why China? Why any other country? We should become self-reliant on everything. And as markets grow, we will find that this happens. There will be several other products which are being imported at a given point of time. They are no longer imported because now there is enough market for them, there's enough demand for them, and therefore there's adequate production facility. A little bit of help from the government in terms of creating the right infrastructure, the right way of working, would ensure that many more products will be manufactured here, which are required in plastic processing.
Mr. Mudit Jain, DCW, he actually enlisted a whole his priority list that he thinks that the government should very seriously look at, all the industries to prosper the way the other countries are helping their businesses. And also Dr. Michelle day before yesterday, he specified that it cannot be completely China-less, but it has to be less of China over a period of time, and other countries also, if India has to become Atmanirbhar, as you rightly pointed out.
I have another view on this really, and since you brought it up, I'm taking this. It's not my. It's what I'm trying to say is that first, if we want to go what China, we don't want to import from China. First of all products, finished products, should be avoided getting from China. If you had to go there, there are so many other products which we don't have adequate substitutes, cost-effective substitutes. If you don't, if you stop suddenly all of a sudden, your cost will get haywire out here. And suddenly you say that you can't sell, you can't do business. Then we are also making a lot of exports, and on which we have a lot of import from China as well. So rather than being, all of a sudden only anti-China in every which way, I mean, you look at it very rationally and say, okay, we will not buy consumer products from them. If even that stops, which is according to me still very difficult, you start making a beginning of building your own capacities for those products.
Agreed, sir. Thank you for sharing that. How do you see the rest of 2020 and then 2021 unfolding for your business in terms of maybe raw material availability, prices, and demand coming back to the pre-COVID situation?
So I think we're going to live with this. COVID is not going away anywhere tomorrow, day after, the next 3 months. We are in for the long haul. And it could be anything between a year to 2 years.
Yeah.
But we'll build our life around this scenario. So we'll have this, we'll maintain our distancing, we'll do more of Zoom calls like this. We'll have people working in plants with social distancing. 10 people will fall sick, another 10 will come and work. We have to learn how to live with this situation. That's the point I'm trying to make. 2 years, we'll have to make a different life altogether. We can't go back to where we were. And at the same time, a lot of business models are going to change. A lot of businesses are going to get transformed. Some may suddenly, as you see, some of the tech companies have really zoomed up. People like Amazon and Flipkart suddenly have a huge amount of orders, and the discountings would have gone away. They'll probably start making money as well. Some people have gone into really difficult times. Retail, fashion. I mean, I haven't worn anything more than a t-shirt in the last several days.
I think that I have clothes to last a lifetime for me now. I wonder, why did I buy so many clothes?
At this point of time, the way we are wearing clothes, this lifetime is not going to be adequate to use them well.
Well said.
So things are going to change. When you're not going to go out so much, fashion will not be driven. So similarly, lots of small changes will happen in our way of thinking, our way of doing things, which will have its own impact. Suddenly you'll find designer masks coming in, for example.
Yes.
So instead of designer shirts, you're going to wear designer masks. And designer mask, which has great design element, it is also doing all the right things to get in the right oxygen amount, taking out the carbon dioxide from the breath that is going out. So you never know. New things will going to come up now. New ideas will develop. Some things will just fade away. Some things will go into deep trouble and then come out of it. As you heard today, hotels have started in Maharashtra with a 33% capacity. 33% capacity, no hotel can survive. And they're going to have a tough time getting there. It's going to take about a year's time before they're able to see their capacity going up. They can't have weddings of 1,000 people, 1,500 people that they used to have. The government is going to clamp down and say only 100 people in a wedding, 50 people in a wedding. What's going to happen? All that business is gone. But also what will happen at the same time, some costs will come down, somewhere else the money will be spent. So this whole dynamics of the entire business is going to be very different from what it is today. And we'll see it unfold page by page on a daily basis for the next 12 to 24 months. And you'll see a different world uh, going forward. They would be going in the right direction. We may have some issues somewhere for some businesses, but I think broadly we'll be all right.
Will be great. Okay. So you've never built up a huge capacity anywhere. All of your plants have been kind of scattered. There must have been a thought process behind it. We do not lose economies of scales at all when we do.
You see, plastics and most of our products are very freight intensive. And also, the logistics in this country are not exactly conducive for material reaching customers on time. So both of these factors put together have made us go at different locations. But by and large, our manufacturing in each of these spaces have a fair amount of economy of scale. Could we have one factory encompassing the entire production and have a dramatic cost reduction? At one end, yes. On the other end, you'll have problems of not able to reach the logistic issues that would be there, transporting so much of material everywhere from a single location. So it does make sense in our business to be where we are as in multiple locations. We're able to service our customers much better now because of that.
Understood, sir. Why you've never thought of acquiring any company in the recent past, whether in India or overseas, organically so as to grow? You were backed up by such strong balance sheet.
It's a very good question. No, you see, there must be a logic for acquiring somebody or something. Either they have something which we don't have, and we use that to grow ourselves in a different direction and a different game altogether, or we go to some location where we would have difficulty in getting into a business, or we eliminate a competition in that area, not in India for sure, but anywhere overseas. For some businesses, we are ready to prepare ourselves mentally to acquire if we get some acquisitions. But in general, there is always an issue of culture. And when you acquire another company, there's always a culture clash, specifically if you have very, very different thought processes, and which most managements have. And so there's a lot of time and effort spent to bring cultures together, and sometimes it takes years. And therefore, we are very comfortable growing the organic way.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing that so honestly. So between MP sir, respected MP sir, SJ sir, and yourself, you apparently have more than 100 years of unparalleled rich plastic industry experience, right from the grassroots to the boardroom. What innovations and expansion can we expect in this new era of Atmanirbharta?
Nidhi, if you see our journey, it's always been getting something at a given point of time. It's not something you visualize today, or 10 years ago, we didn't visualize where we would be 10 years from now. But you do have a vision of a thought process, and you move in that thought process on an ongoing basis. And as you move along in those thought processes, you find that you're arriving at different places every time. As you arrive, you reevaluate everything and move to the next step. We've had a few products. Each business of ours has multiple new products being added almost everywhere. So you may say something like protective packaging division. 25, 30 years ago, we just had one polythene foam bubble film. We made about 8,000 SKUs over there. In the piping business, we have about 25 kinds of systems. So every business of ours finds its own solution going forward, and therefore we'll keep on adding products which enhance these business opportunities these businesses that we are in. So every business, we find opportunities, new ideas, and we move in that direction. So I don't think I can say that tomorrow, what can we do? We've been doing it. We've been doing for the last 53 years. We'll keep on doing it for the next 53 years.
Beautiful track history. You know how I really am visualizing right now is like Supreme is like this huge banyan tree where the roots are so strong, and it's like stemming up, and every branch has its own leaves and blossoming. It gives me that picture. Because you're very active in OPPI. Today, the whole industry is undergoing a lot of crisis, and there is a complete shakeup. What role do you think associations in India should be playing at this point of time?
I think more important, especially in the plastics industry, I believe that we have a great opportunity to build our exports, which somehow we have never been able to build. We are $7-8 billion export versus $160 billion of China. There is a lot that can be done by the associations over there. The other thing is that, work on some situations where certain product import can be reduced, but I'm not a great proponent of that really. Personally, I'm a proponent more of how to be positive and proactive to build the business. So work towards building business in a big way. Export is a great opportunity for association to work towards.
Understood, sir. What would be your learning that you would want to share out of this pandemic? Because you are a person who thinks a lot. I know that. You really apply your mind to every situation. What would be that you would like to share with our industry colleagues who are going to be watching this interview?
I think we thought of ourselves of larger than life at a given point of time. When you saw that, okay, I am the where-it-all, I will do everything, I will control, and everything is by me. And I'm sitting at home and being able to do the same amount of work in lesser amount of time. I don't see the need to go to office, for example, today, that I must go to office. Here I can do 95, 98% of it. So whenever offices we start gathering people, maybe I would visit office once in a while to see whether I am required, or maybe just let them know that I'm still around and not more from that perspective, I think. Otherwise, I'm with my people every day. I know exactly what's going on everywhere, whatever I am involved in. Second thing, I think the big learning for me has been, or message that I've got in this is, God has been extremely kind to us. God has made us a privileged lot. When you see the plight of so many other people that have gone through this crisis, you feel that you must have done something good somewhere, sometime, for you to be where you are. Great humbler. I'm humbled dramatically. I just don't know. I don't have words to express gratitude to Almighty for placing me where we are, where I am.
What a resonating voice. I totally agree with you, sir. Before I let you go, owing to the lockdown, I'm very excited to ask you, have you got more time to do riyaz? I know that you have a huge passion for singing.
Well, I do practice, and interestingly, my practice, I haven't traveled in the 4 months, 3.5, 4 months now. So I'm here. So my teacher is here. We do online classes thrice a week. I do riyaz thrice a week, which was earlier happening maybe 6 times, 7 times in a month. Now is happening about 12, 13 times in a month. So yes, my riyaz has, and I believe there has been some improvement also in the last few months.
I'm going to take that liberty with you, VK sir. चलते चलते तरन्नुम में हमारे साथियों से कुछ कहते जाइए, ये सेशन यादगार हो जाएगा.
So I was thinking about what would be a good message. So I'm going to sing a few lines from a song, which is more metaphorical. It's not a direct. Somebody has to really relate to that on a metaphor basis. So I'll just sing the antra in a very small format. सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का सवेरा जागे, चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घन घोर अंधेरा भागे, कभी धूप खिले कभी छाव मिले, लंबी सी डगर न खले, जहां गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार फले, ऐसे गगन के तले. So I only want to say this world is still fantastic. We are under a gorgeous Almighty. We don't have to worry about ourselves beyond a point. Everything will pan out properly. We only have to make an effort to be safe. So for everything that we do in life, we always have a plan and we have an execution. So safety is today a plan. The effort to make sure that it is done by us is an execution of that thought process.
How beautifully said, sir. Encouraged by you, I am also going to add two lines which I'm taking again my liberty with you.
That should be lovely.
जो मंजिलें एक पल को तू नजर झुका, झुक जाए सर जहां वहीं मिलता है रब का रास्ता, तेरी किस्मत तू बदल दे, रख हिम्मत बस चल दे, तेरे साथी मेरे कदमों के हैं निशान, तू न जाने आस पास है खुदा, तू न जाने आस पास है खुदा. Sir, it's been such an immense pleasure and gratitude to spend this time with you. And I thank you for sharing your thoughts and your valuable inputs with all our industry colleagues. Till we see
You're
each
welcome.
other again, we take your blessings and you're okay.
Welcome, Nidhi, and all the very best. You've done a great endeavor in talking to people and giving their visions and thought processes, sharing it across the industry. So I'm sure I've learned a lot from a lot of people who have spoken, and maybe I have given some hope to some people that all is not lost.
No,
Like
sir,
some people talk about doomsday,
go along.
I don't think so. We're in great shape.
Thank you so much, sir, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye, sir. Bye.